This is the Suplex Assassin, the Hoe Thrower, your MLW World Champion. And you are watching Cole TV, and that is on Boomaye! 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 Let's go. This is the Suplex Assassin, the Hoe Thrower, your MLW World Champion. And you are watching Cole TV, and that is on Boomaye! 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 Let's go.
Hey everybody, give me just a second. Having some technical difficulties.
This is the Suplex Assassin, the Hoe Thrower, your MLW World Champion. And you are watching Cole TV, and that is on Boomaye! 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 Let's go.
Greetings and salutations, and it is still an echo in here. There we go. We got it fixed. Oh boy, and welcome to this special live episode. We're live, pal, of Pro Wrestling 60. I'm XLJ the OG, and I am flying solo tonight. My partner in crime, Mr. B-Roll, did have a family emergency. We want to wish him well and hope everything is A-okay, but we're going to keep on trucking here. But this show is for you, my friend. Already off to an audacious start, if you will. Hopefully everybody can hear me. New setup going on here. This is still a temporary studio. So we're working on some things, but hey, at least this week I got a camera and a mic, and that's all I really need. So hey, a lot happened in the world of wrestling this week, huh? Well, as my good friend Mr. B-Roll would say, the clock starts now, as we got a lot to get into. And yes, a dream, na, 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 na. It's the never-ending story. Holy crap, like this, my God, what a week. Like you talk about a week full of ups and downs and just everything in between, man. It's just crazy to me where we were Saturday night after the Royal Rumble, and look where we're at now. And we're going to get right into it. Of course, it all kicked off this past Monday night on Raw. Cody coming out to address the crowd. Ultimately, we're like, oh, yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he's pretty much going to say, I'm going to challenge Roman. And then Seth come out and threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in Cody's plan. At first, like when this was kind of going down, my initial thought process was like, oh, okay, it's just going to be like, they're going to play with us for like the next month or something. And then ultimately, we all know where this is going. But we get to Friday Night SmackDown, and it's a little bit of a different story. But I will say this, like Seth kind of made for a compelling argument talking about, you know, how his title's the workhorse title. how Roman's title's the Hollywood title or whatever, which Cody would say he doesn't agree with that on SmackDown. But let's go to SmackDown as Roman Reigns come out, did his thing, the tribal chief thing, if you will. Cody, however, comes out. Everything is going according to plan, or as it would seem. He's doing a great promo, talking about he's wanting to take everything away from Roman. And then he says the line that pretty much like just cut the IWC in half and pretty much like cut into all Cody's fans' hearts, but not going to do it at WrestleMania. And it's like so many questions about this. And of course, he talks about seeking counsel. And well, folks, you know what happens from here. Yes, The Rock showed up. And it appears we're getting Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Or are we? I mean, this reminds me kind of like the Yes movement. It's only just begun. Like Monday Night Raw tonight is going to be extremely interesting, to say the least. Because I mean that the fan base, my gosh, this past weekend, you would have thought somebody done shit in your Cheerios. And hey, let me just say this: I'm a big supporter of Cody, and I'm one of those ones. I want Cody and Roman. To me, this doesn't make sense. I mean, there's so many things to take away from this, and there's so many things that's come to light. Supposedly, I don't know what to truly believe. I mean, we can report on it, kind of talk about it. And by the way, leave some comments here in the chat and let us know what you think about this whole Roman, Rock, Cody saga and what the hell are we going to actually get at WrestleMania. I mean, we still got 60 some days away from the biggest show of them all. We do have Elimination Chamber coming up in a couple weeks in Australia. So a lot can happen between now and then. It's going to be very interesting to see the press conference in Vegas on Thursday too, and kind of see, because officially, folks, here's the thing. Officially, this match isn't set in stone. They didn't come out and say this on SmackDown. It's implied. I mean, it's obviously plain and day. This is where they're going, but we truly don't know yet. So everybody, calm your tits. It's gonna be okay. I'm sure we're gonna get this figured out. And hey, I'm going to WrestleMania. And honestly, part of the reason I wanted to go to Mania was because I want to see the story get finished. I want to see Cody against Roman. The thing is, it's not that the fans don't want to see The Rock and Roman. That's not the case here. It's the fact that nobody wants to see Rock and Roman at this year's WrestleMania because everybody wants to see the story. You got to keep in mind, we as fans who watch this religiously have been programmed in our heads that like Cody's story, this whole story of him going through what he did last year and stuff. And everybody was like, they're going to rectify it at WrestleMania 40. And now here we are like, huh? I don't know. I mean, so let's kind of just break it down about all the different things that's kind of come to light since then. Yes. I know Dad Hat does. I know you're for the Brahma Bull. And like I say, for me personally, it's not that I don't want to see this matchup. It's just I want the Cody Rhodes story to get finished at WrestleMania 40. And there's something romantic to me about it. You know, the fact that it's in Philly, the city of brotherly love. It's going to be the biggest WrestleMania. And like I say, I know I'm not the only one who was so intrigued to buy a ticket or get a ticket to WrestleMania because the fact that this matchup was on the table. Here's the thing with this. Number one, with Roman and Rock, it's almost like the timing is terrible. If you would have done this matchup last year, or even, the year before that or whatever, totally different story. I think the crowd would be super in it. And also too, we got to keep in fact this, folks. It's in Philly. You don't think that Philly crowd is going to eat the Rock's ass alive, man? And it's just crazy to me to think about that and say this out loud because it's the Rock we're talking about, the people's champion, one of the most beloved professional wrestlers of all time. But here we are because everybody wants to see this story finish. And like I say, myself included. It's fascinating to me. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Some of the stuff that's come out this weekend is apparently, and once again, I don't know if this is truly true. I don't know whether to believe it or not because it's all dirt sheet bullshit. Who knows, right? But supposedly Rock had it in his contract when he came back to the part of the board of TKO that he would get this WrestleMania matchup with Roman Reigns. So I mean, when this deal was coming to light, that was before the Royal Rumble happened, right? And it's just like, well, that's the big thing to me. If Cody had not won the Royal Rumble, this wouldn't be as much of a clusterfuck as it is right now. If Cody hadn't won the Rumble, Rock comes in, Rock's going to challenge Roman. I get it. It is what it is, right? But it just doesn't make sense. Why would Cody win the Rumble? And then Cody would just pretty much be like, here, you can take my spot. It logically, it does not make sense. It doesn't fall into like Cody Rhodes' character of why he would do such a thing. There's also rumblings in the back that like Rock's pretty much doing like a takeover, or could potentially, he has more power than Hunter or Triple H, that he could potentially be taken over. He's bringing in Brian Gerwitz as his writer to work with, who could potentially be working more of the main storylines. I don't know. There's a lot of variables, a lot of what ifs, but the facts are this. Okay. From the backlash of this, the video, and I forget what we're at. Like, I think we're at over 300,000 dislikes. The video of The Rock and Roman Reigns from SmackDown is the most hated video on YouTube for the WWE. That's insane when you think about it, really. And then on top of that, one of the number one trends going this weekend on X was the hashtag We Want Cody movement. I mean, I've even heard some crazy shit about like the Swifties are going to get involved with this, and it's going to be like an all-on. Like I say, Monday Night Raw is going to be intense, and Reggie's excited too to see what's going to happen here with this story, the never-ending story. Is Cody going to get his shot? I got a feeling this is going to be something we're going to be talking about for weeks and weeks to come here on PW60. One more thing I will say is this: let's keep something in mind. Think about the news that dropped last week, okay? This is obviously taking everybody's mind off of that and kind of like putting the focus on what the hell's going on here with Cody, The Rock, and Roman, and it's painting Rock as the bad guy. I mean, there's still a huge investigation going on, regardless if it's with a guy that's not in the company, involved with the company anymore. But still, I mean, it is what it is. Let's be realistic about this. And I think another thing that's upsetting to the fans too, when you look at it, is the whole like how Rock's coming in, and it seems like, you know, Rock hasn't had the greatest string of luck in like look what happened with Black Adam. A lot of people blame him for kind of destroying the DC movie universe. Don't necessarily agree with that, but still though, I mean, Black Adam didn't do as good as he thought it was going to be. Look what happened with the XFL merging and now this. So, and supposedly he's wanting to do this to help save WrestleMania because of some injuries and some other people that aren't going to be there, which we're going to talk about here momentarily. Me personally, like I say, I want to see where this is going, but I mean, I just, at the rate this is already going, unless they put on some compelling television for some reason to make it Cody and Seth interesting to me, I feel like Cody is somehow going to be this match. Maybe turn it into a triple threat, or maybe you do night 1 Rock and Roman, night 2 Cody and Roman, whatever. Somehow, some way, Cody Rhodes is going to end up finishing the damn story in Philadelphia. I just feel that in my heart of hearts. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, a lot of us here on PW60 got our own takes on this. That being said, let's go to Husky for a hot take, and we're going to follow that with our good friend Dad Hat with some friendly advice for us. Check.
Pro Wrestling 60, what's up? So, as most of you probably have seen already, Cody Rhodes basically got fucked the long way because The Rock is now a board member of TKO, and he allegedly has heavily pushed for himself to be the headline of Mania. I don't want to believe this, but I think that this is partly, not fully, but partly Triple H fucking with Cody Rhodes. Because, yeah, Triple H has done a lot of great things for WWE, but he didn't forget Cody Rhodes smashing that throne. So I think partly this is like, yeah, we'll get you there, but no, you're going to be the consolation prize. We're number one, you're number two. Fuck you, Triple H. This is bullshit.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids. Remember, always respect, listen, and seek counsel from your elders.
You can't deny that pop, folks, but hey, where were they exactly? They were in Birmingham, Alabama for SmackDown. I mean, I would have popped like crazy too, because I mean, The Rock, it's not a city I thought you'd be getting him. Anyways, we've talked enough about this story, and like I say, in the coming weeks, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the build-up on the road to WrestleMania. Now, unfortunately, we found out this week that one returning CM Punk is not going to be competing at WrestleMania, as he did tear his triceps in the Royal Rumble. I gotta say, honestly, man, I'm bummed about this. Like, I was actually really looking forward to see him get a WrestleMania moment, regardless of all the crap we've went through this past year with Punk and the AEW saga, etc., etc. I mean, it seems like he's got his head on in the right place, but man, oh man, unfortunately, right out the gate, already the torn triceps, so he's going to be out for at least, I believe, 6 to 8 months is what they purported. It's a bummer, and obviously, I think this is part of kind of threw a hiccup in the plans for WrestleMania. I feel like they were going to go with Punk and Seth night one, and I think it would have been Cody and Roman night two, but it is what it is. We wish Punk well, hope to get him healed up soon and see him back in the WWE ring. But to me, the biggest winner of this all is this man right here. Drew McIntyre on Monday Night on Raw went second level with his character, man. The ultimate heel, like just chef's kiss. It was so damn good. Like more or less pretty much saying, I prayed for this to happen to you, Punk. Just no remorse whatsoever. And then if you follow Drew's social medias, and if you look on, I believe he did a TikTok this week, where he's like literally at his own gym and he's doing tricep workouts. It's like, damn, son, it does not get much colder than that. But I love this new Drew McIntyre, this vicious Drew McIntyre. He's getting hot at the right time for WrestleMania season. And hey, you know what? We had to make Drew McIntyre our wrestler of the week here on PW60. And like I say, man, I'm excited to see where this heel Drew's going, man. It's going to be a really fun ride. Like, you talk about a guy who, like, honestly, 3 or 4 months ago, I could care less. I just was not into his character. But this heel Drew, I'm loving every minute. I'm letting him just run with the damn ball. It's awesome, man. And hopefully he's going to get a huge matchup at WrestleMania. Well, we had a loaded weekend of wrestling action, but let's talk about arguably probably the biggest show of the weekend, NXT's Vengeance Day from Clarksville, Tennessee. The first NXT pay-per-view, because I'm still going to call it that, damn it, of the year. And it was a loaded show. Man, a lot of the focus was on Trick Williams, as he had to wrestle not once but twice. Opened and closed the show. Opened it up with his buddy Carmelo Hayes going up against Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Of course, as you can see here, Braun and Baron Corbin are your Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners. I like this this partnership between these two. The camaraderie. I can't even speak, but you know what I'm saying. Like I'm digging the partnership between these two guys, man. They're killing it right now. It appears Braun's probably getting called up. As they already talked about him possibly getting an offer from SmackDown, and he's going to talk to Raw as well. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, man, these guys winning the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I'm excited, like I say, to see where they're going to go here in NXT. But in the main event, Trick Williams got his NXT Championship matchup against Ilya Dragunov. Was an incredible matchup, but Ilya Dragunov did pull up the win and retain his NXT Championship. But that's not the story of the night, folks. No, no, no. As it finally happened, Carmelo Hayes turned on Trick Williams at the end of the night to close the show. Should have known some shit was going down when they put the NXT logo bumper at the end of the screen, because they always surprise us with stuff like this on NXT like NXT takeover shows. Excuse me. This has been brewing for a while. I mean, a pretty vicious attack at the end of the night. I mean, Trick Williams is arguably one of the most over wrestlers in NXT right now. So I think this is obviously leading to a matchup between them at the next takeover, which, hey, I'll be there, just saying, in Philly. I think that's kind of where this is going to. Probably take Trick off TV for a couple weeks here. Let Carmelo cook on NXT like he does. Because, I mean, as great as Carmelo is, man, I love him as a heel. So it's going to be an interesting story. It's always a compelling story when you see these like partnerships fall through. So exciting to see what's going to happen on NXT between these two in the coming weeks. Now, for me, I have to say this show I felt like was a tale of two different stories. The first half of the show, to me, kind of fell flat. It was a little uninteresting. But the second half, man, it really got to cooking with this NXT Women's Championship matchup. Elia Valkyrie defended against Roxanne Perez. Great back and forth between these two. These two have incredible chemistry. But the big story here is midway through the match, Lola Fice would come out and cash in her contract and turn this into a triple threat. A lot of close calls in this one, folks. There was times where I thought Roxanne was walking away with it. There was times where I thought Lola was walking away with it. But at the last second, Elia Valkyrie is able to pull it off and retain her NXT Women's Championship. Of course, she had a little bit of help. I'm just saying. But still, nonetheless, she is still NXT Women's Champion and what was an incredible matchup. And like I say, I felt like this matchup is what really turned the night for this NXT show. And then for your North American Championship, the newcomer Oba Femi, which I feel like I butcher his name every time I say it. But anyways, he retained his NXT North American title against Dragon Lee. Very impressive showing by him. Still very young. Very interested to see where his development goes in NXT. And I mean, he's already putting on some dominant performances. Is this the start of one of the most dominant reigns North American champions had in NXT? It very well could be. I mean, you look at them, and I mean, he has got the look, he's got the power. It's going to be interesting. Like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how his character develops here in NXT. Now, also, we got to see a no DQ matchup between Dijak and Joe Gacy. Really am enjoying this rivalry these guys have had. I feel like this probably is going to be the end of it. I don't know. They may get a couple more matches out of it, but ultimately, Dijak picking up the win in this no DQ match. And of course, we got to see the family defeat Out the Mud in a 6-person tag team matchup, which I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the family. I just feel it's kind of like meh to me. Didn't really care for it. But I tell you the one thing I did care for on this show, about Chase U is still alive. thankfully, to the calendar, which, by the way, apparently you're going to be able to get that on WWE Shop here relatively soon. So, but overall, man, this NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, like I say, the first part of it was kind of mid, but the second part really great. The last 3 matches were the best, in my opinion. Well, we've already talked about it some, but let's talk about kind of a little recap here on Monday Night Raw, as we already know what happened with Punk and the whole with Seth Rollins and Cody. Got to see Bronson Reed go up against Yeet. One main event, Jey Uso. Also, how about that? I really enjoyed the tag title match with DIY going up against Judgment Day, as well as the IC title match with Kofi Kingston going up against Gunther. And we thought we were going to find out who Bayley was going to challenge at WrestleMania, but Nia Jax kind of put the kibosh on that. All roads are pointing. Looks like we're going to get a Nia Jax Rhea Ripley matchup. I would assume it's probably going to be an Elimination Chamber. I don't think that's going to be the WrestleMania matchup. I think that's going to be reserved for somebody else. Mainly the man. I'm just saying. But Monday Night Raw was freaking solid, man. SmackDown. Let's talk about SmackDown. We did find out who Bayley would be challenging. As it finally came to light, Bayley found out that Damage Control, at least Io, along with Asuka, Kairi Sane, was talking mad smack about her, which we kind of knew. We knew where this was going. But ultimately, we got our first official match announced for WrestleMania. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, Bayley, will be challenging Io Sky. The story kind of writes itself. I'm excited to see this matchup. Logan Paul kicked off Friday Night SmackDown, talking some smack to one Kevin Owens. And it looks like next week they're going to name who the next contender for one Mr. Paul is. Also, we found out that the newest members of the Friday Night SmackDown roster are, in fact, it looks like Naomi is going to be joining SmackDown, as well as one Tiffany Stratton, who Tiffany Stratton did compete against Mishin. And of course, we all know what happened with Cody. But WWE programming this week was solid, coming off of the Royal Rumble. But let's flip that script. Let's talk about some AEW now. Let's talk about some Dynamite. Loaded show, man. Kicked it off with Jon Moxley going against Jeff Hardy. Which I gotta be honest, I just, that does nothing for me. Not a huge Jeff Hardy fan. Never have been, never will, but I got to see Hangman go up against Toa Lima from the Gates of Agony, which Swerve picked him. And then, of course, gotta talk about that main event. Pick your poison. Swerve Strickland going up against one Rob Van Dam. RVD looked like $1 million, dude. Like in this hardcore matchup, he got all of his stuff. And it's amazing at 50 plus years old. Rob Van Dam has not missed a beat. And this match is full proof of it. We got to see some other interesting stuff on Dynamite as well. Absolutely, we talk about it every week. The Tony Storm stuff is just so damn good, man. I absolutely love it. Chris Jericho going up against Kyle Fletcher from the Don Callis family. We got a little bit of a shutdown there with Darby and Sting against Big Bill and Ricky Starks, which we now know that is going to be a Texas Tornado match this upcoming Wednesday on a loaded Dynamite show. So you've also got freaking Hangman going up against Swerve for #1 contendership. You got that tag team title matchup. And it's escaping me. I know there's another big matchup that's for this upcoming Dynamite too. But overall, man, Dynamite was an awesome show. I just feel like we're in like WrestleMania season now, and the focus everybody's talking about is WWE. But I mean, AEW is still putting on, as you kids like to call it, banger after banger after banger. Let's talk about Friday Night Rampage. Sorry, kids, I'm flying solo. Coming off just get my voice back, so I had to take a little swig there. On Rampage, credible opener, top flight against Private Party. I'm loving these like two tandem teams like working together, man. Like they have some great freaking chemistry. Once again, we got Queen Amanada on my screen, which I absolutely need more of. I'm for it. We've been seeing her on pretty much all the AEW shows here lately as she went up against Willow Nightingale. And we did get to see the CMLL wrestlers in action. Oh, that was the other match for Dynamite. I just remembered. Sorry, I'm getting old. We're getting the CMLL tandem going up against the Blackpool Combat Club. Well, that'd be interesting. Well, let's talk about Collision from this past Saturday night loaded show. I got to see the team of FTR and Daniel Garcia go up against the Patriarchy with Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Kill Switch. Red Velvet was in action, as well as we got to see, once again, Queen Amanita against Serena Deeb. How about the opener, though, with Eddie Kingston and Brian Keith was phenomenal. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But we got to talk about that Bryan Danielson and Hikaru matchup, which I never personally had seen him until this matchup. Buddy, I'm sold now. Like, that was very impressive because you get these Lucha guys coming in. And typically, you know, you get the high-flying Lucha Libre that we're used to seeing. But, man, the technical aspect he had, like, he's a phenomenal technical wrestler. The back and forth in this matchup was tremendous. And, of course, we had to make it our match of the week here on PW60. But this, let's get back to it. We got to talk about it. Brian Keith now is All Elite. If anybody ever deserved to have that title of being All Elite, it is this man right here, Brian Keith, the Bounty Hunter. Well deserved. I just hope he does not get lost in the shuffle, and we do get to see him used more predominantly in AEW. Time will tell on that, though. But awesome to see him get signed. Like I say, if anybody deserves it, is truly him. And we also found out, here we go again, Tony Khan will make a big announcement this Wednesday on Dynamite. What do we think this is? I don't know. Hopefully it's not disappointing. I'll say that. Excuse me. But I think personally, it boils down to some of the hottest free agents out there. Let's talk about it, folks. First up, we've got Mercedes Moné, who has been rumored for months that she would be All Elite. Signs are pointing towards that. Supposedly, she may be debuting with AEW here in the next couple months. I don't know where she is as far as like finishing up with New Japan or any obligations there. But obviously, New Japan and AEW have a working relationship. So, I mean, who's to say that she can't do both? So, but man, what a shot in the arm that would be if they could get Mercedes Moné as part of the AEW women's division. But I think the big one, we're all talking about it, one Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker. He's about to finish up his additional dates he agreed to with New Japan. And pretty much, it's obviously he's state bound here in the United States. There's no doubt about that. There was some heavy rumors going like it was going to be WWE, but then it's switched back and forth on the Rainmaker, man. It's between WWE or AEW. I mean, with the AEW, it's like he already has competed there. He knows what he's getting into with WWE. The thing I'm concerned if he goes to WWE is like they talk about like putting him in NXT, and that is just like if you're bringing Okada into WWE, he needs to be there the night after WrestleMania as like your next main event challenger for Seth Rollins or Cody or Roman or whoever the hell it's going to be. But in my opinion, that's what you got to do with Okada. But we're going to find out here real soon where both of these free agents are going to be landing. And it's like I say, all signs appear like AEW. But is that what this big announcement is? Is it going to be him announcing one of these two have signed with AEW? We're going to find out this Wednesday night on Dynamite. Now, this was fascinating to me this week. At Dynamite, the famed Gypsy Rose was backstage taking some pictures here with Absolute Ricky Starks. And she was in attendance for the Dynamite show in New Orleans there. I guess her husband is a huge wrestling fan. Right, I think somebody was telling me he's got like a Bret Hart license plate or something. So, all right, cool. But nonetheless, it does look like Gypsy Rose is a huge wrestling fan, which that got us to thinking here at PW60. Well, just watch this from our good friend, the Best Scout Machine.
P-Dub City. We had Gypsy Rose Blanchard show up at AEW Dynamite, one of the most famous jailbirds to get set free, and what did she do? She went to wrestling, like a true American. Well, that made me wonder, what are some of the most famous criminals' favorite wrestler is? Well, I did some research, babies. Call me Daddy. First off, we got Scott Peterson. What kind of wrestler screams Scott Peterson? I'm going with The Rock from Friday Night SmackDown. We know why. Next up, we have cult leader Charles Manson, who famously wrote the song Beautiful People. Now, this one was a toughie. Alicia Fox. Now we have famous cabrona Yolanda Salvador, who would be her favorite wrestler? Corporate Kane. Duh, it was right in front of my face the whole time. And finally, we have Albert Fish. I don't know anything about Albert Fish. Give me a second, let me read up on him. That was horrible. That was Randy Orton. Definitely Randy Orton. You know, something feels a little missing here. But what kind of country singer would he be into? Shania Twain! Let's go, girls. Let's sing about being a woman. It's a prerogative.
Short skirts there. Oh, sorry, we're back. Thank you, Best Scout. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I did not realize that about those serial killers or those famed criminals. Let's put it that way. Well, I said we had a lot going on in the world of wrestling this past weekend. One of those shows was on MLW Super Fight at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. And then the main event, our boy Alex Kane was defending the MLW Heavyweight Championship against Satoshi Kojima, former MLW champion. And this blew my mind, folks, because we have a new MLW champion as Kojima has dethroned Alex Kane. I don't know how I feel about this. I love me some Kojima. I don't think he should have beat Alex Kane, though. I mean, he was on fire. That Bomai movement was incredible. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him going forward. I know in my heart of hearts he's going to get that championship back sooner than later. But me personally, I like the uninterrupted title reigns like Jacob Fatu had, like Hammerstone had. And I truly felt like Alex Kane should have got one like that, but it is what it is. Congrats to Kojima. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes with this title from here. Always been a huge Kojima fan, and man, he's still got it, dude. He's still killing it. We do know that the next MLW title matchup is going to be Kojima defending against, of all people, Minoru Suzuki. So that's going to be interesting. Which that'll be coming in the coming weeks on MLW. But we here at PW60, a lot of us, we're huge Alex Kane fans. We were upset by this. One of the people here, you know him, you love him. Let's go to Ron with what grinds my gears, because he's got a lot of stuff that's bothered him this week in wrestling.
Tell you what happened in the world of pro wrestling this week. A lot of it's really grinding Ron's gears. First off, I'm gonna talk about my boy, Alex Kane. going down to that 53-year-old Satoshi Kojima. Man, what's up with that? Alex Kane had one of the best runs in all pro wrestling. And you mean to tell me some 53-year-old Japanese wrestler who loves bread beats him? Man, now that is some bull donkey. Bomae is for the people, and he needs to get that championship belt back real soon, and it's gonna happen. Ron predicts it. Now I got another real problem with you, Carmelo Hayes. Man, what you doing turning on your boy Trick Williams? Reminds me of some bullcrap when Butch Reed turned on me and cost me the tag team titles in WCW to the Fabulous Freebirds, man. Not cool, Carmelo. You're looking out for yourself. You already held that NXT championship. Now it's Trick Williams' turn, man. It's time to whoop that trick. That done grind my gears what you done to Trick Williams. And my boy, The Rock. What's up, man? Now you coming back to the WWE and you're just taking over? You going all in on yourself, man? Man, you taking Cody's moment away, man? What the hell is up with that? Reminds me of the time when you came into the Nation of Domination and you done took over as the leader. That was my group. I was the Nation of Domination, not you, Rock. And then all you give me is a damn painting. You don't even give me a Rolex or something, man. Did you give Cody a Rolex, man? Tell me, I got to know, man. But Cody needs to finish his story at WrestleMania. I said what I said. And that's what really grinds my gears. Damn!
Man, even Ron wants Cody to finish his story. And I just have to say this, Ron. I think you got a little bit confused. It wasn't a painting. It was actually a picture of The Rock, but it's okay. Well, in other exciting news in the world of wrestling of events that occurred over this past weekend, GCW had a couple of shows. Saturday night, they were at the Ukraine Center for the Coldest Winter 2. And the big marquee matchup, we got to see the GCW in-ring debut of one Nick Nemeth as he was going up against Matt Cardona in a matchup, what was 8 years in the making, I think they said. It was fun just to see these two guys work each other. Obviously, a completely different Cardona than when he was in the WWE. And we're seeing kind of a different Nick Nemeth than when he was Dolph Ziggler, really. He's having fun, you can tell. Like his dad was there, his brother was there. They were just cutting up, involved in the matchup. This was a fun matchup, but this show was loaded to me, and this was probably one of my more favorite GCW shows I've seen in a while. Everything from so many different things you got here, like the Chris Bay matchup. It's just like, whoa, man. It was really good. And then you get Mike Jackson, the 70-plus-year-old, going up against Kerry Morton Jr. or Kerry Morton, Rick Morton's son. Man, that was I Kerry Morton's a great heel. He is fun to watch. And then you got to see Boosie go up against Masha Slamovich and Marina. Awesome. The Hammerstone Charles Mason matchup was awesome. Santana Jackson and Su Yung. God, that was just so fun. But for me, by far the match of the night, for sure, the match of the weekend for GCW. Honestly, it almost came close to being our match of the week. Blake Christian defending that GCW championship against Dark Sheik. Dark Sheik came at him with everything. An incredible matchup. But of course, Blake did retain the GCW title. But seriously, do yourself a favor. If you haven't done, check it out. Go over to Triller TV and check out the replay of GCW's The Coldest Winter 2. But also Sunday night, they were in Arizona for GCW Feel No Ways. Pretty solid follow-up. I really love the matchup with the Deathmatch Royalty going up against Bussy and Second Gear Crew, essentially. I really enjoyed it's not listed on here, but it actually is the Fuego del Sol and Sam Stackhouse as a tag team. That was freaking awesome, dude. Brittany Brooks making her GCW debut, which if you're not familiar with her, she's an incredible wrestler based out on the West Coast. Check her out. Kerry Morton against our boy Cole Radrick was beautiful. And of course, we got the big Hammerstone Richard Holiday matchup. Like I say, GCW is killing it right now. They're one of my favorite promotions to watch. And if you're not watching them, do yourself a favor, go check them out because they are putting out amazing shows after amazing shows. Got a little bit of an update, kind of, here on Wardlow. If you didn't notice this past week, old Wardlow, War Daddy, had a little bit of a little scare there with the knee, it looked like. So, we don't know the exact extent of the injury. We just know that it's obviously there's something going on there, but they're keeping it very close to the cuff. Hopefully he's not going to be out for an extended period of time because it looks like they're kind of putting in a lot of effort to him being like kind of like the next guy to challenge in the Undisputed Kingdom for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, but hopefully Wardlow is okay and will be able to perform. Just needs to get a haircut. I'm just saying. And also, big news coming out of AEW this week. Excuse me. Little rumors going on talking about one Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews that they are wanting to pretty much be done with AEW. I don't know. I'm not buying this personally. I think it's a bunch of dirt cheap bullshit. I think people are like just grasping for things here. I think they're obviously, oh, well, hey, both these guys compete, or their wives compete in WWE, so obviously they're going to want to go back to WWE as soon as possible. I don't think that's the case. I think they're enjoying what they're doing. House of Black's been awesome. I think this all stems from a report talking about how they did not want to do the JOB to Daniel Garcia and FTR, so they made that an escape the cage. That way they weren't getting pinned. I don't know. Take it for what it is. I mean, we've heard this before with Malachi, like he was done with AEW, but I don't think that's the case. Me personally, I think you're going to see House of Black continuing their reign of terror in AEW for a long time to come. Also this week, the debut of Love and WWE, the Bianca Belair and Montez Ford reality series, hit Hulu. Gotta be honest, I have not watched this because I don't have Hulu, but I've heard people say nothing but great things about it. So it is available. You can stream it in its entirety now on Hulu. Love and the WWE. Speaking of love, we love our good friend Brian and Brian's House of Random. Well, now it's that time of the show for Brian's random moment of the week. And real quick, huge shout out to Brian. Happy birthday to you, sir. Our good friend's birthday today. I think he's turning 27. He's a very young man. Anyways, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week.
Hello. Like the famous pirate Bluebeard and Blackbeard, Ink from Work. Hi, Brian. Brian's House of Random. Here we are on PW60, back again this week. What a Royal Rumble and the ramifications since then. Wow. And so much more. Quick favor. I want you to do something for me. Well, let me mention this. Today, February 5th, as of this video, is my birthday. Woo! Yeah. Here's a birthday present that you can give me, but actually is giving to the other creators here. I want you to, if you don't already, if you're watching this episode of PW60, I want you to go to XLJ, Mr. B-Roll, Best Scout, every content creator you have seen or will see in this episode. Go follow them on TikTok, Instagram, wherever you find them. Give them a follow. Follow me as well. That'd be a good birthday present, things like that. Cool. But please do that as well. All right. Show them some love and appreciation. They are awesome content creators. All right. So here we go. The series we're about to wrap up here pretty soon, talking about your ultimate version of factions in wrestling. One I want to look at is the Hurt Business. And this one I want you to do a maximum of up to 5 members. Active wrestlers, if you want MVP as a manager, he doesn't count as one of your 5. He can be as outside of it. You can mention that and say MVP as manager, but that doesn't take your 5th spot. Now, you can do any combination. You can use the original Hurt Business of Lashley, Benjamin, and Alexander and add 2 people. You can stick with 3. But again, 5 is your maximum. Now, you can do any combination with this. again, from current time or even from 2020 since the original. You can go with any of those forms from there. You can pick outside of WWE, from some other companies, things like that. So, for example, you could say Lashley, keep him, of course. And let's say you keep the Street Profits, what they got going now, that's going to eventually be called the Pride, but really should be called the Hurt Business, my opinion. You can actually add a female in there. So if you don't want to put B-Fab, who's with them now, and you want to go, let's say, Bianca Belair, makes sense, you could do that. So there you go. Happy birthday to me. And have fun with that question about give me your ultimate version, 5 maximum, of the Hurt Business.
A happy birthday to you. A happy birthday to you. A happy birthday to our good friend Brian. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, buddy. Hope it's as amazing as you are. You always bring up such phenomenal questions. We love you, buddy. Speaking of that love, let's keep that love going because that's what we need right now in the IWC. It is time for our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week. And we went with somebody who I don't believe, amazingly enough, we've ever highlighted on this show before, which is crazy because he puts out such amazing content. I'm talking about that wrestling guy. He always has great thoughts, great mindset, puts out awesome videos, like nothing that's like really, truly like, you're wrong, I'm right, which there's too much of that crap right now in the IWC. He's an awesome content creator. If you're not doing so, go give him a follow. That wrestling guy is our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week here on PW60. Big shakeup in the land of Raw and SmackDown this week as the announced teams have changed up. How about this? We now have Monday nights. We're going to get Michael Cole and a returning Pat McAfee, which those two are always great together. It's going to be very interesting to hear them call Monday nights, though. And then over on Friday Night SmackDown, we now have the team of Corey Graves and Wade Barrett, which I thought was a very fascinating tandem on Friday night. They did a good job. I think both of these announced teams are very solid. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see Pat on Monday nights too. And of course, also, he's going to be obviously getting hopefully caught up on the product. I'm just saying. Also, I think it's interesting too. How long is this going to be? Because obviously Pat's got obligations with ESPN and covering College Game Day, which obviously that's not going on right now, so we're good. But when college football season comes up, is he still going to be calling Raw? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think this was definitely a move in the right direction. And like I say, it's very interesting to me putting him over on Monday Night Raw because all he did before was Friday Night SmackDown. So it's going to be pretty cool. So we'll see how this goes. And yeah, we got to talk about this, folks. So this past week, Brock Lesnar was virtually pulled from any upcoming WWE projects. He's out of the 2K24. Obviously not going to be involved with WrestleMania. Big rumors there that he'd be working with Gunther. That's off the table now. Don't see Brock working with WWE anytime in the near future. Of course, if you know, you know. If you don't, you can look it up. Honestly, I don't want to talk about that aspect of this a whole lot. But yes, obviously being involved in this whole huge case against Vince McMahon, which I think WWE is taking steps in the right direction against that, as far as just distancing himself and being done with Vince McMahon and anybody affiliated with him. Look for them. There's still some people in the company that probably need to go bye-bye. Bruce Pritchard. Among other people. But yeah, Brock Lesnar, I don't think, will we ever get him back in a WWE ring? I don't know. That is hard to say. We may have seen we may be done with Brock. It is what it is, man. So it's still a terrible story. The whole thing is god awful, and like I say, we're hopefully this is legit the last time we're talking about those assholes, because yeah, the whole situation is just disgusting. And our final story this week on PW60, it was announced this week that WrestleMania 40 will have a special start time now of 7 p.m. Eastern time, with a kickoff show that's going to be 2 hours that starts at 5 p.m. Not sure what this means as far as like the time frame. Was this done like a lot of different elements? Like I was having a good discussion with a good friend of mine about this, and we were almost thinking like, okay, maybe this has something to do with like the subways getting people out of there because it's like, they don't want to be going till midnight or something. That could be a possibility. I just think, I don't know. I think ultimately it's a smart move. I think stick to kind of like what they did last year and do like a 4-hour show each night. And I think that's a safe bet. I think that's will be entertaining for everybody. It'll get everybody on the card, give them time to cook on each one of these nights at WrestleMania. And once again, a friendly reminder, Cole TV is going to be in Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40 weekend. We're actually going to be there throughout the week. Actually, you can find me in Atlantic City at the first part of the week. So if you see me out and about, come say hi, man. I'd love to meet you. It's going to be an incredible time, and we're going to have a ton of amazing footage from WrestleMania 40 week, from other shows as well as WrestleMania itself, and some specials for some of our shows as well. So, like I say, be on the lookout for those announcements coming here in the near weeks. And holy crap, did I actually finish this show on time? Well, that's what happens when I'm doing it by myself and I don't have much of a voice. So, but somehow we made it through tonight, and I want to thank all of you all for checking us out here tonight on this episode of Pro Wrestling 60, and hopefully I can continue to get my voice back as I'm building it up over time. So, well, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Pro Wrestling 60. I'm XLJ, the OG. Of course, hopefully next week be joined by my partner in crime, one Mr. B-Roll. And we wish you well, my friend. We're thinking about you. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Raw tonight and what happens all this week in the world of professional wrestling. Well, once again, I'm XLJ, the OG, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody have a great week, folks.